What's up, everybody? FREEJBOOSIE here on The Hundreds TV, The Hundreds blog, tv.thehundreds.com, with the one and only Ali Macofsky, comedic genius, generally pleasant person to be around.
Generally?
No, honestly, one of my favorite people.
Really?
Yeah. If I had like five, it's like Gandhi and you are like definitely in the top.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Also, like, who else? Yogi Berra.
Okay. Who's
Official,
that?
best catcher the New York Yankees ever.
Oh, okay.
Miles Davis, even though he was a piece of shit.
Okay, I think that's four, so then it's me.
And then it's you.
Yeah.
Honestly, I need more men in there. Or I need more women in there.
That's okay. We're working on it.
We're
We're
working on
growing.
it.
You know, we're learning.
Okay, so we're here with the one and only Ali Macofsky. What do you prefer to go by? I know you as Ali Mac.
Yeah, I mean,
But
both is fine. I feel like Ali Macofsky is just like professional, but it's
at night you might be fucking Ali Mac. You never know.
When the sun goes down, Ali Mac comes out. Yeah.
Okay. So why don't you just tell our viewership a little bit about yourself, who you are.
I'm Ali. I turn 25 next month, September 8th. I'm a Virgo.
Okay, so get those Venmo payments ready for September 8th.
September 8th, Venmo me. I am from Long Beach. I have known you for like 3 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
How did we meet?
So I was working at a chicken wings place on Melrose right by round 2.
Yeah.
You were working at round 2.
Yes.
And they were pretty much like right by each other.
A stone's throw, as one would say.
Yeah, and I don't think I knew about round 2 before working there.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys would always come in and get wings, and everyone was so cool. And you guys would always get water from the water fountain. And so, you know, on slow days, I just got to know all of you, and then I started hanging out at round 2, which is something I'm kind of known for.
Just kind of being the stock shop hanger.
Yeah, like when
on the block, as some would say.
That's how I met Bobby from the Hundreds, because I used to do open mics on Fairfax. So when I was waiting to go up at the open mics, I would hang out at Supreme, I would hang out at the Hundreds. And then, I don't know, I feel like everyone who worked at round 2 was super cool, and that's how I got to know you.
Yeah. Okay, so just a few things off rip. It is so fucking hot in Los Angeles.
It's so hot. It was like 106 the other day.
It's like so fucked. And we have we're here in the very, very lovely Vernon, California, the industrial armpit of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Live. It's very sunny down here. We have a huge warehouse facility. We are here at the Hundreds HQ.
Yeah.
And the warehouse is like fucking beaming, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, this is a very impromptu interview. I was unaware that you were coming in.
You're wearing shorts.
I am wearing shorts. So one of my biggest fucking pet peeves is like wearing shorts at the appropriate time. Right? Maybe shorts in the workplace aren't really like the best thing, but it's a fucking streetwear company, so I think it would be pretty chill.
It would be weird if you were like in a suit here.
If I was in a suit, right?
Yeah.
And the sweat stains with the suit, it was like, nah. If I'm like wearing like a fucking like burgundy like suit, like a band director or some shit like that, like it's awful.
Yeah.
But and yeah, so I never fucking go out at night ever in shorts. That's like fucking children's play. Like, leave that shit for the fucking children.
Do not wear shorts out at night.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what the fuck? Like, dog, nobody wants to see your fucking knees and calves. Like, them shits indoors. And now, doing an interview with shorts on, which is like my second pet peeve, is like wearing shorts at the appropriate time.
Yeah, but you didn't know.
I didn't know, and they're also really short.
I love short shorts are in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like I keep seeing these memes that are like, yo, dudes, if you're wearing shorts at your knees, like you're fucking ugly.
Yeah.
It's like also really mean. And
that's also all over TikTok. There's like so many TikTok videos about guys wearing shorts.
So, TikTok to me is like, I don't understand how to culturally decipher it.
It's pretty much just an explore page.
It's just an explore page.
It's just random videos. Some are gold, some are awful, but it's a great way to just waste an entire day. It's like virtual ketamine.
I feel like whenever I'm interacting with TikTok, I feel like I'm an old man that only listens to Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
And I'm like, huh? Who are these kids?
Yeah, what are they doing? Yeah, totally. But then it becomes more, your like algorithm, your feed becomes more specific to you and your interests. So eventually it might just be Frank Sinatra videos. It's got everything.
So, hey man, I need to get on that more.
Yeah.
So, Ali, you are becoming and are a very, very world-renowned comedian.
Okay.
That's not a question. I just wanted to.
Okay.
We're past the question, but I'm just making statements now.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
I'll say, I mean, if that's what you believe, then I'll go with it.
And so, well, honestly, it's been really, really cool to see your whole development as not only like a personality comedian, but just like also just like kind of making your own space and own lane with being yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one thing I really admire about comedians is even if it is kind of dressed and maybe disguised in satire, the topics that are covered are like very, very true to the self. You know,
yeah.
It usually comes from a very personal place. And it's about bringing the audience and the viewers into that personal space and maybe making them feel a sense of joy or laughter through something that may not be a usual topic. You know what I mean? So, what are some things you like to like portray to your audience that maybe isn't like definitely written? Like, what do you like to story tell?
I mean, well, going back to hanging out on Fairfax, the reason why I would hang out at Supreme all the time is because I had a huge crush on this guy, Bobby, who worked there.
Yeah.
And, like, that was so true to me. Like, to me, I was like, Bobby's the king. Like, he already knows I have a joke about him. We're cool. So that's why I'm bringing it up. But, like, you know, I just talked about how much I liked this guy and how little he liked me. And, like, still knowing how uninterested he was and, like, trying to continue to pursue that. And I think that everyone has been in that position where it's like, oh, you know that this isn't going to work out, but you're not going to give up. And, like, the things that I do to get ready for meeting up with someone who doesn't like me. Like, I know that they're not interested, but I'm still going to, like, do a full face, get my nails done, shave my legs, like, and, you know, like, that's very real to me. And, like, even though not everyone has a crush on Bobby from the Supreme store, like, they can all relate to, like, that feeling. And so I feel like I talk a lot about, like, you know, relationships and like family and stuff that's specific to me, but in a way where other people understand those same feelings. Yeah.
What is your favorite gig that you've ever done?
Oh my God.
Small or big scale? I know that you did a big run on like a stadium tour with Rogan, correct?
Yeah.
And so like, I guess also another really cool thing, so I'm a jazz musician, right?
Yes.
And what's really cool that is like a weird comparison to comedians is, especially in LA, like these major comedians, you can see them on the movie screen and you can also catch them in like a 25-person room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so it's very similar to jazz musicians where like you could play for a rock star or you could play in like this little hole in the wall. So I guess are there advantages of either doing a stadium or doing a small club? Like what do you dislike and like about each?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it just depends on what you want to bring to it or like what you want to get out of it. Like the first time I got to do an arena, that was like the most surreal moment, you know. It was my first time. There was like I think 10,000 people and it was like in a round. So like the entire audience is surrounding me. And I had never, you know, there's no way to prepare for something like that. You can't do an open mic in a circle and be like ready for an arena in front of 10,000 people. And so that was a crazy experience, and like honestly that was one of the most fun times I've ever had because it was so big and so unreal, and like just to see that video of me like getting up on stage and like it was super cool. But at the same time I really enjoy like smaller rooms. Like the Comedy Store in LA is really fun because you can try out new stuff and get like a very honest reaction, because the people who are going there, they're not impressed, you know, they're going to be a very honest audience. But when you're in an arena, you're not going to like test out new jokes. You're doing everything that you know works and you're getting like the biggest reaction that you know you're expecting to get. And so it just depends, you know, like an arena is really fun, but it feels kind of like, you know, it's like playing around. Like, you know, everything's gonna work, hopefully. So you just get to like have a great time. And then it's also fun doing the smaller rooms because you like don't know what's gonna work, and that's the exciting part.
I know you probably get these sort of standard questions, but are there any influences within your craft that necessarily do not come from comedy?
I mean, yeah. I think I'm like like before I started doing stand-up, I knew that I wanted to entertain people, and I didn't know what that was gonna look like. Yeah. Like I didn't know.
So
comedy.
was it some like dinner table shit? Like did it start like you being like funny at the dinner table? Oh, I mean, Mom, I'm fucking pouring my spaghetti on your head. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't doing anything like that, but I feel like I was always like anytime we would go to like a friend's house for a barbecue or something, like I would just always try and get attention and like make people laugh or like do dances or sing. Like I was just always performing, like ever since I was little. And when I was really little, when I was in 3rd grade, I started making prank phone calls on the radio with Ryan Seacrest.
You used to prank phone call
Yes.
Ryan Seacrest?
I called in one day, totally random. I wanted to like get Britney Spears tickets.
Yeah.
I end up talking to him. I sing Toxic by Britney Spears. We end up talking.
And you low-key have a voice, too.
Yeah, but I was 7 years old singing Toxic.
Okay.
Like, I wasn't, like, really blowing him away or anything. But I remember he offered me American Idol tickets, and I was just like, I'm not going to go unless they're VIP. You know, and I'm 7 years old.
You're
just
already
like,
negotiating your fucking deal.
Yeah, so I do that. He ends up offering me a job. I worked there for 4 years making prank phone calls. So that I realized like entertainment and like comedy in some form could be a career. So when I was in high school, I was like a senior in high school, I was like, okay, well I really like singing. I really like comedy. Like which one do I do? And I chose comedy, honestly, because my mom told me I didn't sound like Mariah Carey or Ariana Grande, so I was like, okay, well then...
I'm fucking done with singing.
Yeah, then I'm not going to try. So,
thanks, Mom.
Yeah. So I ended up doing comedy. It's been working out pretty well so far, but like, I'm still very influenced by musicians and like the way that they promote stuff, the way that they like post things, and like the way that they interact with their audience. I really enjoy, and it's like I've always been interested in musicians and like, you know, what they're doing, and so I think I try and bring some of that. That's why I think doing the arena was so cool, because I've seen so many big concerts in arenas, and every time I go to a concert, I'm always like I get really sad after, like on the drive home, because I'm like, I want to do that. I want to be performing in front of all those people and like have everyone like interested in what I'm doing. And so getting to have that experience where I'm in an arena in front of all these people, like it felt like that. And so then now when I'm like doing merch and things like that, like I want merch that's like really cool to wear and not just like I want to be able, I know this sounds really corny and maybe crazy, but like I want to be able to have merch in the future that people want to wear, or like,
it's like something sought after that builds a story similar to like the Hundreds, for instance, or something like that. Okay.
I want it to be something that's like cool.
So yeah, you're definitely trying to like, I mean, especially with like this, the social media age, if you want to call it that. There's definitely no like formula to this shit anymore.
No.
You know what I mean? And so for you to pigeonhole yourself as just a musician or doing things just like a musician do, or comedian or actor, you're like really like missing out on like a whole other sort of world, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I like just being able to like share what I'm doing with people all the time. Like I grew up always having like I had like a MySpace in the 5th grade. Like none of my friends were on MySpace, I had to add all my sister's friends, and then I went on Facebook and then Instagram. So I've like always been
up to date with the shit.
Yeah, and just like used to like interacting with like strangers online, you know, like that's how I grew up.
You're just really good with interacting with strangers on the internet.
And so I'm like, I want to just keep doing that. Like I love it. Like I love being connected to these people who I don't know.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So also, I just really like, so we met very early on, and so like I had only lived in LA for like 2 years.
Yeah.
You're from Long Beach, so you had been around. But just really seeing like, you know how people talk about the glow up.
Yeah.
The LA glow up.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just like, I don't know, just a very, very cool story of like kind of your background. You know, you obviously started your comedy career prank calling Ryan Seacrest, right? But then like we were kind of talking with Bobby earlier, just like, you know, you were working at the Wing Spot, right? And then you started doing the door at the Comedy Store just to kind of be more immersed in the scene. And also that's just like a very, very interesting part of the narrative, I feel like, because you always hear about these comedic institutions being the gateway.
Yeah.
Right? But you were literally the person physically there of letting people into the gate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At the door. And so I feel like that's just like perfect, that's like the perfect like LA like social currency that like you really see the full story of just like Wing Spot on Melrose, Comedy Store, Door Girl, fucking stadiums with Rogan.
Yeah,
and
it's cool because it's like, you know, when you start doing anything, there's no money involved. Like, if you're getting into music or getting into fashion or getting into comedy, anything that's kind of like a crazy idea to get into, you're not going to be making money. You can't get into it for the idea of being rich, you know, because then it's like you don't know if it's going to happen or not. And so with comedy, it's like I wasn't getting paid, you know. I'm working at the chicken wings place like practically every day making money while still doing really cool shows, but I don't, you know, it wasn't really happening. And I told myself at the end of the chicken wings place, I'm like, this is my last food service job. And so far it has been.
Yeah. And you know, I think that like kind of for just like young creatives trying to break out of the sort of like side hustle to support your actual hustle. One, I just feel like it's almost like a necessity.
Yeah.
That like sort of bridge to like overcoming the hurdle and like getting into the industry and the place that you want. I feel like it's like kind of like we're all on like individual heroes' journeys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Remember the hero's journey in like English textbooks and shit like that?
Not really. Isn't that like the Odyssey?
Yes. So remember how they would break out the Odyssey and it was like, oh, like this is the hero's journey?
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of applies to like individual career paths and shit like that.
Because I think at the base level, it's just a story about someone who like doesn't give up. You know, there's so many things that get thrown at you, and it's very easy to say, oh, this is too hard. Like I can just do this and be like pretty happy and like have a steady career or whatever. But with something where you're pursuing like a creative field, it's like it's going to be challenging a lot of the times, even when it seems like everything's going great. And it's like it's those times that really show like how you're going to do, because you just have to like keep pushing through it.
Yeah. So it's like kind of a blessing and a curse that we get to have you here, because I get to talk to the amazing Ali Macofsky. But also, you know, we have face masks on. This is the time of COVID-19, so this interview with the mask is going to be like kind of pigeonholed into a period of time, right?
Totally.
So what I want to ask you is, how has comedy changed in the era of COVID? Besides obviously not being able to fucking like do gigs and performances and shit like that, but maybe what are some of the other things that have kind of like enhanced because of the COVID? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like I'm in retirement sometimes, where I'm like, should I move to Palm Springs and just like lay out in the sun all day?
Like one of those crazy like $300,000 Palm Springs houses.
Yeah. That's
just like, you know what I mean? Like it makes you question why you fucking pay like $1,300 for a shitty ass like apartment that doesn't have AC in fucking Koreatown or like wherever the fuck. You know what I mean? Yeah, totally.
So I don't know, it's weird in the way that I'm just used to being out every night and seeing my friends all the time and like having that community.
Because the LA scene, it's like, or the LA comedy vibe, it's like a scene, right? It's like a community of people.
I mean, it's so big, but at the same time, it can be like very intimate, because like you start with a group of people and you just stay in touch with like, you know, you see them all the time. So it's a big scene, but it's very like.
How come there's no like XXL freshman class for comedy?
That would be so sick.
You should run that shit.
I mean, there kind of is. There's this comedy festival called Just for Laughs, and they have this like thing called New Faces, and only like 20 people get in each year. So I guess that's kind of similar, but it doesn't have that like cool like XXL vibe. It's a little bit different, but
I mean,
it's
is
similar.
the XXL vibe cool? I don't even know.
It used to be when I was in high school. Those XXL videos.
Do you remember the fucking?
Danny Brown's was my favorite.
Yeah, Danny Brown's fucking crazy.
My favorite. And now I'm like kind of friends with him. That's the craziest thing. Now it's like I think people are realizing that like, you know, videos are really crucial. Like putting out either old comedy clips or like just becoming more creative with how you release content.
And so on that tip, resting bitch.
Yeah. So I started a podcast a little over a year ago.
Yeah.
And thank God for it, because if I didn't have the podcast during quarantine, I would be like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Also, like, it would be the sort of thing, like, you've had it for a year and be like, all right, like, I'm a scrub. Like, I'm getting my podcast started now out of necessity. Yeah. Instead of, like, having a little momentum behind it.
It's nice, and, like, we've grown so much, because I just kind of started it on a whim. I was like, if I don't start one now, I'm never going to. It's never going to be exactly how I want it to be. So it's grown a lot, you know, like it just in terms of like graphic design for it and like just production and all of that. It's changed a lot and it still is growing, but like it's just been so nice because it's a way for me to like stay in touch with people who might not get to see me when they thought that they would or whatever, you know. It's like it's just nice having that outlet. And now I guess like drive-through shows are starting up, so that It's kind of fun to see like how people are getting creative with it and being able to like continue live comedy while still being like safe.
I mean, you know, humans are pretty good at adapting to things, right?
Yeah.
So Resting Bitch podcast.
Yeah.
Where can you find that?
You can find it everywhere. It's
Like
kind
everywhere
of
you find your podcast.
Yeah, everywhere you find your podcast. It's on YouTube too. I really like the YouTube.
Yeah, what is your preferred platform for people to check it out?
I
YouTube?
love the YouTube. Yeah, because I look so adorable.
And you like edit it like really like funny.
Sometimes, yeah. The
Sure, you
really
also
cute.
viewers, you guys should really check out. We're here with Ali Macofsky, comedic genius. I will say it. Put it in fucking writing. But also, Ali, the funny thing is when we first met. You didn't actually remember me.
No.
But I doesn't matter.
I just found out about that.
Yeah, right? So I met you at like a random Koreatown house, but I had lived here for like a month. And I was like, fucking anxious about like going out of my, anyways. And like, yeah, you were fucking like, hey, we were all at the studio hang. I was meeting some dudes that were recording some songs. You were like, yo, I'm gonna bounce, go do this comedy set. And I was just like thinking in my head, wow, LA's like some LA ass shit. Like this chick's just gonna go do the comedy set. And she like pulls back up and we're like partying in the studio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, so fast forward like a year or two later, I just remember like I was working on Melrose, like we were talking about round 2, you were at the Love Baked Wings. And I was just like, yo, this chick's like, just why is this chick making me laugh? Like, why she's like ringing me up for my lunch?
Yeah.
You know? Started talking, introduced friendship, and now, full circle, we are both kind of at different places in our lives, reconnecting this beautiful interview series.
Yeah.
So, my last question for you is, for the young people that may be feeling anxious or very bogged down that are interested into breaking into comedy and maybe they can't go to open mics, they can't do this and that, what are some things that people can do during this time to kind of get the momentum going with their comedy?
Yeah, I think, it's definitely a hard time to start because I can't imagine that there's many open mics to go to unless you like live in a state where
And they're out of their fucking
more
mind.
relaxed, yeah.
More relaxed, like crazy fuckers in fucking Florida. Not even more relaxed, like don't give any fucks.
Yeah, do not give
Don't.
fucks. Yeah.
Okay, so but is that kind of like how you started? Was like?
I mean, yeah, that's the way to do it, and
traditionally too. You always hear about like, oh, this person did open mics. And they came. Okay.
And the thing is, like, it took me so long to do an open mic because there's so much like head speak where you're just telling yourself like why it's not the right time to go, you're not ready, your jokes need to be better. Like there's a lot of reasons to talk yourself out of going to an open mic. And I get a lot of messages from people like asking what to do, and I did that a lot. I would message all my favorite comedians asking them if they have advice. All the advice that I got was just go and do it. My first open mic, my second open mic, my third, fourth, fifth, sixth, up to probably like 100, they were all dog shit. I was not good, you know? At the time, I thought I was good.
How many performances do you think you've done?
I don't know.
Hundreds or like?
Yeah, like probably. I mean, I've been doing it for like 6 years now, and I've done at least one show a night. But like, I don't know, it's hard to say.
That's fucking crazy.
Not one show a night. I just mean like, you know, when I first started, I was going to like 5 open mics a night. Like that's all I did. I wasn't going to college. I was living at my parents' house. Any excuse to get out, I would take it. So I was doing so many open mics, and like, you know, you're not going to be good. So don't expect to be good. It's not going to be good. You might think it's good. That's great. Don't post any videos the first year because you're going to get so much better. Just do it. Get out of your own way. Just do it. And if you keep doing it, you'll see that you've grown. And like things will happen. Just show up for yourself. Don't be a piece of shit. Be like a nice person. And then like good things will happen. Whether it's like success or not, like don't expect anything crazy. Just like show up and do it and see what happens.
The title of this interview will be Don't Be a Piece of Shit, Be a Nice Person.
Good.
Conversations with Ali Macofsky.
Yeah, Ali Mac for the real ones.
Ali Mac for the real ones who know.
Yeah.
So Ali, thank you very much for joining us in Vernon, California at the Hundreds HQ.
I love it.
This interview will probably be featured on tv.thehundreds.com. You can also check out additional blog content here with the one and only Ali Macofsky. Why don't you go ahead and give them your handles really fast?
Not Ali Mac on Instagram, NOTALIMAC, and you can check out Resting Bitch with Ali Macofsky anywhere.
Anywhere.
Anywhere. Just find it.
And I'm FREEJBOOSIE. I will see you around.